Welcome into the WCS Coaches Show. I'm District Athletic Director Patrick Whitlock. Our game tonight features an interclass matchup between the Summit Spartans and the Nolensville Knights. And today I have two head coaches with me, Summit's coach Brian Coleman and Nolensville's coach Scott Stidham. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Yep.
Absolutely. So, like I said, interclass matchup. We have out of Region 5, 5A Nolensville, and out of Region 6, 6A Summit. Coaches, we don't always get matchups like this when you're not in the same classification. So, Coach Stidham, we'll start with you. Not sure you actually scheduled this game since it's your first year, but what's the motivation behind playing this matchup?
You know, I really enjoy playing Williamson County teams because I just think the atmosphere's special. You know, you get the student body loves it. They know each other. Our kids have played it against each other when they were in middle school. So it's always fun to play each other. And, you know the coach. You got great respect for them. You know they're going to play really hard. So, and after the game, there's no region standing in it. So it's going to make both of us better and know kind of where we are heading into the stuff that matters.
Coach Coleman, a nice gate for this game?
Yeah, same. Love playing Williamson County Schools. Had a relationship with Coach Derek before when he was there, and so that's why we scheduled the game. Would have done the same with Coach Stidham. It's usually about, especially scrimmages, but even playing during the year, it's about quality teams and quality programs is who we try to play, and you always try Williamson County teams first, going that route. So much respect for Coach Stidham and that program for sure. So it'll be a good barometer for us all.
All right, Coach Coleman, your team got the win last week, 13-0 over Spring Hill. Jackson Krinke ran for 2 touchdowns, had 81 yards on the ground. Yeah. I think more impressively, your defense pitching the shutout, forcing 4 turnovers, all interceptions, 2 by Michael Crutcher. You know, what were some of your takeaways from week 1?
Yeah, defense kept us in it. Spring Hill had a long drive, first drive of the game, and I think that was really key to the game. They missed a field goal. I think they got to maybe the 10, 15-yard line, missed a field goal. So momentum changed after that. Defense really kept us in it all night long. Like you said, Michael Crutcher, 2 picks, and had 2 more picks by other guys. So I think last year, the whole season, we only have 4 picks. So we matched that in the first game. So defense playing well. A young defense at that. We're starting 6 sophomores on defense. So only going to get better, hopefully, throughout the season with those guys. And Spring Hill they had a quarterback that's a big, thick kid that was really tough to bring down. So that really let us know what kind of defense we're going to have, and a lot of tackling technique. We got better throughout the game, I think.
Now, Coach Stidham came up on the losing end against a good Lebanon team, had the ball late, driving, trying to make one final push and get that win. Ryan Newell, 201 yards passing, 61 on the ground. Oliver Bender, kind of one of your go-to guys, 7 catches, 124 yards, and a touchdown. You know, despite the loss, what are some positives you take away from week 1?
There are a lot of things we can build on for sure. Kids played really hard. They played unselfishly for each other, which is what we've been preaching since we got there. And so now we got to fix a lot of things from my standpoint first, you know, becoming a better head coach and our coaching staff being new, working together. But too many penalties for sure that cost us a lot of them pre-snap and undisciplined penalties and post-whistle. We had a couple of those. But those things are correctable. Our kids have worked at it. And Lebanon's a really, really good football team that was physical. And our kids, they drove it down our throat the first drive, but we responded with one back. And it was just kind of a battle back and forth and came up a play short. And we're looking forward to continuing to get better and see if we can get on the right side of some of these.
So let's start with some of your personnel. Coach Coleman, we'll start with you. Who are some of the leaders on your team? Maybe not some of the guys we've already mentioned in the show, but some other guys that you're going to have step up for you throughout this season.
Yeah, most definitely. When I talked to him about it earlier, Michael Crutcher, he's starting safety for us. He's a 3-year starter, senior. He's going to be definitely a leader for us. He's a team captain. Carter Kaczynski is going to be a great leader for us. He's out with injury right now, but hopefully we'll get him back. Jake Campbell is our starting left guard. He's also a team captain. He's kind of the leader of that offensive line, so he's doing a great job there. I guess you could say Sean Mitchell is our Y or our tight end. He's also a senior. So very few seniors, but these seniors are going to have a big job of leadership with these young guys because we have a ton of young guys playing.
Coach Stidham, who are some of the guys that you depend on for leadership?
Yeah, I think we only have one senior lineman, and it always starts with those guys. But Zach Little is our only senior lineman and is doing a great job. He'll play some on both sides, but mainly an offensive lineman. Josh Hicks, running back that also plays corner, has played a long time for Nolensville. It seems like every time I've watched film, he's been out there, but we sure are glad to have him one more year. Andrew Ryan, Dalton Odell are both two good slot receivers, and Dalton plays corner. And then on the defensive side, Jimmy Marzullo, who's also a really good baseball player, has been really outstanding for us. And so we don't have a lot of seniors, but we have some that are really playing well. Austin McIntosh has been banged up early, but we're excited to have him back. Hopefully he'll be able to play a little bit more this week. Walker Guerin. There's a lot of seniors. There's not a lot, but the ones that are playing we're really excited about. And I'm sure I left some out, but we've got some kids we're excited about because it's hard to have a new coach, especially on April 14th. And they've bought into what we're doing and replacing an unbelievable coach that I have so much respect for. So it's hard on seniors to have that happen, and they've done a great job of buying in and letting us coach them.
Do you think, we talked about it's kind of a hidden storyline, and this is some people that might not know about, but Coach Derek, your predecessor, assistant now at Summit, do you think that it gives him an advantage at all in preparation for tonight?
Well, he knows our personnel better than we know theirs, that's for sure. But he's just, he's a great football coach. He's a better man, and he's a good friend. So, it'll be a challenge for us. We haven't mentioned it to our kids. They know, right. But it's not an issue. Thank goodness he won't be.
I know you.
I promise, Coach. And, thank goodness he's not playing. That's what I'm glad he's not playing. He'd probably rock us back there. But, we just need to go play. And our whole philosophy this whole week's worry about us because we did some things that beat ourselves last week, so we need to do that. But no matter what happens tonight, my respect for Coach Derek won't change, and Coach Coleman, just their whole program.
Absolutely, Coach Derek. I had the privilege to work with him for a few years at Ravenwood, so obviously go back with him a little bit. Great guy for sure. So we kind of touched on this at the beginning, but county opponent, obviously not a region game. Coach Coleman, we'll start with you. I mean, does it change like is your players' mentality a little bit different playing a county opponent this week than say, a team Spring Hill they might not be overly familiar with in week one?
Oh yeah, most definitely because they know the kids, they know them personally, they hang out with them, So and even last week in Spring Hill, they knew the kids that because we're really close to Spring Hill, but yeah, they really know these kids on and off the field, so. I'm sure that's extra motivation for them and our student sections. I mean, you're in Williamson County, so both student sections are going to be rocking and be dressed up, and the bands will be playing. So it's a great atmosphere for everybody to be around. I know the stands will be packed, so the kids will enjoy playing that game. Especially because of the Williamson County aspect of it.
Coach Stidham, what about for you guys?
It's so different being here in the middle of all these schools in Williamson County that you'll ask some, I don't know the kids' names on the other team, but I'll say, number 7, man, he's a really good player. And some kid go, oh, yeah, I train with him somewhere. They all know everybody. And they know more about them than we do personally. We just see what we see on film. So it's something that kids like playing against each other. They enjoy these atmospheres just as much. That's what separates Williamson County from everywhere else. The atmosphere is ridiculous, and it's fun, and you don't have to give a pregame speech. You got to go, everybody calm down. Everybody take a deep breath, and so, which is a good thing. And so they work really, really hard. Friday night needs to be special, and tonight will be special.
Didn't put a whole lot of pressure on those pregame speeches.
That's right.
You just got to go out and play. I always loved those games when I was coaching because
that's right.
You didn't have to come up with anything prophetic in order to get
it's
your
always
kids.
more of a calm down role, I think. Nowadays.
It really is.
I mean, because they're so amped up and so just the atmosphere. You just got to just relax, get through the first couple plays, and then just play football.
Yeah, everything kind of goes out the window after a series or two, for sure.
That's right.
No doubt. So. 1 week in the books. You've obviously had several scrimmages before that. Coach Stidham, we'll start with you here. I mean, what has been the focus of your preparation? Maybe any key adjustments? Obviously you got Coach Coleman here. You don't want to give away the game plan. It's always kind of an awkward situation, right?
Great question. Let's go.
Yeah. then he's just going to bow out after you say your part. But what are some things you're looking to focus on as you move into this week 2 matchup?
Well, first of all, we didn't add much because we didn't execute what we had last week. So our kind of philosophy when things aren't going great, let's get good at something. And so we're gonna, our base stuff in all phases is going to be very similar to what we've done. Executing it better so our kids know it better. Again, our whole staff wasn't together till after dead period, just because we got hired so late. So everything's new to us. We just need to continue to get better and progress throughout the whole time. So our focus is about us. The same things we always need. We got to take care of the football. We know how physical they are. We know that they're going to, I've coached against coach for 3 years, and it's kind of like, hey, we're going to run the ball right here, and then they just run it down your throat, and you can't stop them. That's a helpless feeling. So to be able to play physical enough to match what they do, again, the respect's off the charts for what they do and the way they do it. So we're going to have to play really well tonight, but worry about us executing what we do. So,
Coach Coleman, obviously the defense probably the highlight in week 1. Yeah. Any adjustments you're trying to make going into week 2?
Yeah, offensively we've got to hold our blocks better. I mean, the initial is okay, but then they've got to hold them a little bit longer. Our backs have to hit the holes. There's just so many things that. I mean, the game is blocking and tackling. I mean, all the X's and O's, all the things, but it's basically blocking and tackling. If you can't block anybody, you can't score. If you can't tackle anybody, they're going to score. So those are the 2 things really that we have to work on this week. I mean, it sounds little, but I mean, we've got to tackle better. We've got to get them down. We've got to run to the football. We're tackling too high last week, I believe. So, but like I said, we figured it out throughout the game that you're not going to take a big kid down up high. You got to get down in those thigh boards and stuff like that. But and blocking, just the angles. I mean, the different techniques with the hands. They've just got to get better at that. And like I said, running backs hitting the holes. And we were just kind of basic last week, so we're trying to build on the offense, build on the defense. Get more things in. But like I said, we've got a young team, so you can't give them too much at one time. So just trying to add just a little bit at a time.
So, you guys have coached against each other for 3 years now, a little bit different setting with the Indy Summit rivalry at that time. So as coaches, you're probably pretty familiar with each other's schemes as you move forward. But Coach Stidham, we'll start with you. What are some of the challenges that this Summit team is going to present for you guys tonight?
It's surprising. I knew they were starting some sophomores. That they're starting 6 is really surprising on how hard they play and how they get to the football. They're opportunistic. And the quarterback they played was a good-looking kid now. We'd have had trouble tackling him with seniors. So that he's playing so many good kids just as a compliment to their program and what they're building. But we have to be able to move the football some. We're a little more balanced now with what we have in our personnel. We're able to throw it and run it. Oliver Bender can catch the football, and we have some other guys. Trey Walker's another one. So we have to be able to execute and throw, but we also got to be able to do a better job up front so that we can run the ball more consistently. We feel good about the guys we have. Ryan had to run a lot. You got Tristan Lithmasai, that's a really good one, was our leading rusher last week. So we feel good about it, but we got to do that first, and then you got to stop them. They're going to run the football, but then you go to sleep and they throw it over your head. So we have to be able to play really sound defensively, and your eyes start looking in the wrong place and they go 80 yards. So something really important. And then we always forget about special teams, but their special teams I thought were really, really good last week, and we've got to be better. Ours were pretty good, but we kind of beat ourselves with some penalties and not fielding a couple balls. So we have to do better with that, but we're excited about J.D. Kuhlman and Ian Hopper, our kicker and punter. We think are really good.
Coach Coleman, what are some of the challenges that they're going to present for you?
Another week for us facing an athletic quarterback. Their quarterback is very athletic. Not Spring Hills was big and powerful. Theirs is very slippery, great athlete, hard to tackle, very fast. So that always adds a dynamic if you're playing against a team like that, the dynamic of the quarterback being able to run. Number one, the wide receiver coach talked about, he's really, really, really good. So he's one of the best in the county. Noticed him when we had our Wilco thing, our combine thing. So we noticed him a lot there. A very good athlete. Defensively, I like number 50. I think he's a junior, but he has a high motor. And Coach Derrick spoke great things about him. Say he's gonna be trouble for our offense. He's a defensive end. Those corners are really forcing pretty hard. Like you mentioned number 10. It seems like he's been playing forever, but he's a really good kid, really good tackler. Outside linebackers are really denting the pullers very well. So it's going to be a challenge for us. They're great personnel, like Coach said. They're playing hard, and that's what. I mean, that's what Williamson County kids do. It seems like they're hard-nosed kids and giving everything they have.
So, Coach Coleman, on that, Ryan Newell, their quarterback, kind of a dual threat guy.
Yeah.
You played a fierce runner a week ago in Spring Hill. How difficult is it to prepare for a guy?
It's tough. I mean, pass rush lanes is a big thing. You can't have any holes in your pass rush, and he'll just squirt through and gain 15, 20, or 30, or even take it to the house. So, pass rush lanes are very important. Just keeping him hemmed up in the pocket. You want him to throw, but heck, then he's going to throw to the number one or the good receiver. So it's a two-edged sword there. But it's always tough. It's always tough. You got to account for him, not just a guy that's just going to sit back there and take the hits or anything like that, but can get out of the pocket.
Now, Coach Stidham facing a defense that picked off 4 passes. As Coach Coleman referenced earlier, he didn't know they picked off 4 all season last year. Do you address that, or is that kind of always lingering in the back of your head when you're trying to call plays?
That's one of the first plays we showed them. Those 4 plays, because they set up short fields. I mean, the number one statistic, everybody wants to know how many yards you rush for, pass for. It's takeaways and turnovers, the number one decider in a football game. So, taking care of the football is going to be huge because they're opportunistic the way they do it. And again, they were playing a good quarterback then, so. Both of us tonight have to take care of the ball. It's going to be huge, no matter when the game is, who you're playing. That's number one. But yeah, it's scary, and we showed them and showed Ryan and our receivers. We got to compete for the football in the air and take care of it. Number one.
So, I always think it's interesting to ask coaches this question because our viewers don't always have like the insight of it. But this week this week hasn't been quite as hot. Shouldn't be too hot tonight, but. Kind of take us through like what your week looks like in terms of preparation. Obviously, yesterday you probably have a walkthrough, but what is, coming off of week 1, it's obviously a little bit of adjustment. Coach Coleman, we'll start with you. Just give us kind of a synopsis of your week of preparation and really what that looks like.
I think this is the first week that we've actually practiced every day after school. Every other week has been one morning we'd have to go at 6 to beat the heat, just trying to at least be able to get out there because we've been heat indexed so many times. After school that you got to go in the gym or you can only go out for an hour and no pads. So in order to get a full practice in full gear, we've had to go in the morning sometimes, whether it be Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Now, our Thursday morning, every Thursday we go at 6 o'clock in the morning. We go in, we get them in, we go over the specialists and stuff like that and run through a game type situation. And then after school, we get us a lift in and then, they get their therapy or anything with our trainer. So we started that last year. I really like it. We get the kids home. By the time the traffic cleared, which is about 4 o'clock, which is an hour after school's out because the traffic stinks. But they're excited about that. They get home a little early on Thursday. So I guess finally getting a norm now, and hopefully it'll cool down on Friday. Cramping was an issue for us. Cramping was an issue, I think, all over the state. I know it was for Spring Hill. I know it was for us. We had 2 interceptions that they were tackled by a cramp, actually. So we had an interception about the 7-yard line. And he was actually tackled Max Nakel. He's a sophomore. Got a pick and just went down at the 7-yard line with a cramp. And Crutcher got one and just had to run straight out the sideline, holding his leg because he was cramping up. So tackled by cramping can happen this week, and hopefully it won't because it'll be cooler.
Coach Stidham, take us through what your week looks like.
Yeah, Monday we practiced just like Coach. That we got to finally have a normal week, but. We go from 3 to about 5, and our JV kids practice with us, and then we played our first JV game this past Monday at 6 o'clock. And then Tuesday, we practiced a little bit longer, but it's a little more physical day on Tuesday. And then Wednesday is our last kind of big practice, and we finish that we're wearing shoulder pads at least for. We finish around 5 or so. It's a couple-hour practice. And then we do the same thing Coach does, practice in the morning, and the kids love it because it's the first day that they get to be a normal kid after school. Yeah. If they want to go get a haircut or a doctor's appointment or spend some time studying or whatever. So it's amazing. I don't think they love it when the alarm goes off, but they love it after school. Yeah. And they've asked, they're like, Coach, we love Thursday morning practice. So getting that, and it's also good for our coaches. So some coaches start working on the next week's film so that they have more time on the weekend. And then some coaches I go home and go introduce myself to my wife who I hadn't seen for a while.
That's exactly right.
And so it's been really good for us. And something we can all enjoy. For me, it almost feels like a couple hours off.
Yes.
That you kind of get to catch your breath.
And it's crazy. Our kids are we practice great in the mornings. I mean, once you get them there and they're up and you get them out on the field, we've had some of our better practices this year, even off season, in the mornings. I guess they're fresher. I mean, all the worries of school and all the grind during school that is not in their minds yet. So it's been great for us in the mornings. And I mean, and the rough thing about us is trying to get a lift in. You know, you want to lift a couple times a week, and we don't have that period yet in Williamson County.
Working on it.
Maybe the new guy can get that
at the
done.
forefront of my mind.
But just a little plug there. But
you keep them coming.
Yeah. But we lift on a Tuesday after school, and then that pushes our practice all the way to 6. But we've got to get a Tuesday, Thursday lift just to get anything to keep their muscles going. So practices do run a little bit later because we're trying to get that lift in. So that Thursday morning helps to get that in.
Yeah, it seems like, coaches I've talked to, that is the growing trend on Thursdays now to get them in before the day. And, I know as a student, you get to get away in the afternoon a little bit earlier, probably get a little bit better night's rest the day before a game. Yes. So, a lot of advantages. Probably, I'm sure their morning teachers enjoy that a little bit more too. They're a little bit more awake.
Sure.
So yeah, a lot of advantages to that. And
as long as they shower.
Right. Well, this is true.
Teachers might not like them front row.
Could be a double-edged sword.
That's right.
So we referenced special teams earlier. For non-football people, how big of obviously special teams, you can win or lose games with that. How much of practice is consumed through special teams? This is just the old coach in me wanting to know how much time you guys spend on this. Coach Stidham, we'll start with you.
Yeah, we don't do any Monday just because of the JV game and the way it falls. And then we spend, 25 minutes on Tuesday, and we spend 35 on Wednesday and review them all on Thursday. And then we're spoiled in Williamson County because I've coached where we didn't have a kicker, or our kicker also played right guard.
Yeah, no doubt.
And so we're spoiled. Our backup kicker is one of the best kickers I've ever coached. But that's just how good he could be, and thank goodness he's a junior. But those guys go and work, and it makes it a lot nicer. If a kid can kick it accurately or in the end zone, man, it's a huge advantage. So. But we had a few gaffes with a snap on the punt, and so we're excited about getting that better and continuing to work because every big plays are another statistic that decide a game. Well, every special team should be a big play, and hopefully it's for you. But if you get a net punt of 35 yards, 40 yards, you just flip the field, and those are huge.
Coach Coleman, and the special teams factored in last week.
Yeah, it did for us. We have a real good punter this year. I won't stop for it. He's a senior, unfortunately, but he flipped the field. I think we punted from the 25 and it went to the other side, 25. He's just a rugby-style guy, and he actually plays rugby too, so he's used to that rush, and it's a little close for us. We kind of flinch a little bit because he lets them get too close before he kicks it. But he's doing a great job, and we have a luxury this year. We have A.J. Wheeler as a snapper for us, and that's all he does, and colleges are offering him scholarships to come snap. So that's great for him. That's great for us to not have to worry with that. A snap going awry. We've had it happen many times in the years past. So to have him is definitely a luxury. And to be honest with you, it's always tough. You got to make yourself as a coach. I do, to get special teams practice in. You got to say, all right, we're going to practice special teams right here, because I know defensive coaches, they love to go over. You give them an hour, they're going to take an hour, 15, hour, 20. So and I know. You'll hear it from the offensive guys too, but that's usually the things that we've got to get. So Monday, this week we've made us do some drill work on special teams. It's not all like kickoff. We'll just do certain drills, and punt team will do certain drills, and then Tuesday, Wednesday between offense and defensive team, we do special teams there too. So try to get those live reps, because you don't want to hit them too hard on Thursday. We run through the special teams on Thursday, but you don't want to be in too live. In order to get a guy banged up on a Thursday would really be bad.
No doubt. So it's game day. kind of an odd question here. Any pregame rituals or superstitions? I had a lot as a basketball coach. I could tell you what my record was in certain pairs of shoes. Not that it ever factored into the game or the kids ever noticed, but what does a game day like from 2:47 up until kickoff look like for you guys?
So I don't know that I'm that superstitious, but I'm pretty routine oriented. You know, it even goes Monday's Monday and Tuesday's Tuesday. It all goes through. If you ever have to play on a Thursday, we have to move it back, and Sunday became Monday and Tuesday. So everything has to be done a certain way to prepare them. And if our kids are prepared, I sleep really good Thursday night, and then I'm ready to go. It's really, a lot of it's almost just killing time sometimes. But what we do on away games, our kids stay and we feed them. And so today we'll eat a pregame meal together and kind of go through again the routine of it. But no, I used to be probably a little bit more. And as a fan, if I'm just a fan of something, I'm more superstitious. But I feel like I have some control, I guess, as a coach.
Stand in one spot or sit somewhere.
Right. That's right.
That's my seat. Got to
That's
be
right.
there.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
right.
They scored when I was standing right here, so I got to stand right here.
That's right.
Yeah, or watch the TV, watch a certain spot on the couch. Yeah, never do anything like that. Coach Coleman, what does it look like for you?
Yeah, I used to be superstitious, but I think I've grown out of it, and so I think the older we get. But the routine for the kids is big, is key, I think, especially on a day like today. I mean, you want them, all right, you're eating here, you're going to do this, now you're getting taped, just to keep them in a pattern and time zone of what they need to do, or else, their mind will start wandering. Like Coach says, we always feed the kids. We never let them go after school on Friday. We always keep them there. So, feed them a meal. Our Booster Club does a great job. We have some team moms that take care of that for us. Feed them a meal. They're together. They're thinking about football, and then we do a little walkthrough. Then we go to the locker room for a little while they get taped. So it's just it's routine to try to keep their mind right.
All right, so we're getting ready to wrap it up here. Coach Stidham, tell us a few things that absolutely have to go your way tonight for your team to come out on top.
Yeah, we got to start with being physical enough to match their physicality, because they really do a good job and play so hard. And then we got to take care of the football as we do. That's huge in every game. But I think specifically for this game, we have to be balanced offensively. We've got to be able to run it and throw and keep them off balance, because they really play hard. They're so sound. They're always in the right place. They're coached so well. And we just have to be able to do some things to put them off balance, to hopefully get their eyes in the wrong place so that we can get some hidden yards, I guess, a little bit against them. And then kicking game's huge. We got to find a way to win that. And I'd say both special teams are really talented specialists on both sides.
Coach Coleman, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, our kids, whether they realize it or not, I know, and Coach probably won't admit, I know they're going to play a little bit harder because Coach Derrick is on the other side of the field, which is great. I mean, I know they love him. I know they respect him. He has the same for them. So just kind of weather that storm. And like I said earlier, it's a simple game. It'll block and tackle. I know he's going to have his team prepared. They're going to be sound. They're going to be in the right spots. So and we want to run the football. I mean, that's no secret, I guess. So as long as we can run the football and then open up the passing game, but again, turnovers and blocking and tackling, it's pretty much of a simple game, I think.
Yeah,
for sure. Always comes down to that, it seems like. So that is going to conclude our coaches show for this week. Tonight, we have Nolensville at Summit. Coaches, best of luck tonight. Thanks for being here today. Great job. 2 great coaches, 2 great programs, 7 o'clock kickoff. Tune in, and we will see you next week.